Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where we have one of our subs. And you're not a bad sub. You're not as good looking as Hawkins, KB.
At least I'm not wearing my swimming cap like Warren Lafurna.
Warren Lafurna, the trouble with him was why we actually put him in the closet is because of the swimming cap. You cannot wear a swimming cap on the show.
Can't wear that. Anyway, big shoes to fill, yeah?
Yeah.
The Lafferty chair,
Well,
Mr. Paul's chair. So what I thought I'll do is I'll take both my feet and put them in one of his shoes. So I've filled up one of his shoes.
Well, that's good. Not bad. You're on the right track anyway.
He's a size 12. He's a big boy.
Yeah, well, we're going to be chatting later about him. In your call, we're going to have Phil Giorgio and Trevor Foree chat about how we're going to put together things as far as Laf's concerned. You know, he's not well, and everyone out there probably knows by now that he's not in great shape. But we're going to go into our 3 to follow, and just follow through the show. You'll have some fun.
In the Travers, Flower Alley is the winner.
His dad, Distorted Humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another, wins the Derby.
I'll have another in the Preakness.
Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Well, we kick off with the first one that we found in the 3 to follow, and we got to Kenilworth, the 20th of June. It was the first race, and interestingly enough, this was won by a Vulgabor's Drift bred by Kildonan that Mary kept herself, Night in Tahiti. We like the look of the second horse. We think that this will go on and win some races. We're going to go and pick up Silver Mountain at the start of the 1,000-meter. Drawn one right on the inside there, Kevin, main chance colours.
100%.
They eventually got away, fell out the pens.
Yeah, he comes out very slowly. With these horses, James, as you know, when you come out slowly in a 5 furlong, you're already starting on the back foot. But it looks like he's in no sort of a hurry to chase it up. He's just sitting there and giving it every possible chance. But if you just wait a little bit further on, you'll see he comes off the fence. So he must be racing quite green and not knowing what to do.
Well, the filly that wins it, as we said, the Kildonan, is gone. They're on its bicycle, beautifully prepared by the Kotson team, and you'll see this starts running on now.
Yeah, you can see him now. He comes off the fence now, giving it a clear run. The winner's home and hosed, as Kildonan, how good he was as a sprinter. No stick still. He gives it a little, 1 or 2 little nudges to keep going, and really gets going. So having a fantastic run with that experience under its belt, definitely one to follow next time.
Silvana, our Table Mountain, beautifully bred by Highlands Farm. Interestingly enough, it cost 1.3 million. We think this will go on and win some races over a bit of ground. But very nice debut by the winner, the Kildonan filly, Night in Tahiti, and as we said, beautifully done by the Kotsons to get one on the board for Mary and Vulgabor's Drift. Let's go and have a look at the next one. We go to race 4. And this was another Vulgabor's Drift runner. 4th race, 1,400 metres. First timer from Jay Ramsden and Bernard Fadhobe rode it. Let's go and have a look at Nima. Kev, what do you think, Kev?
Again, James a little bit slow out, and the inside and outs horses didn't give it any much of a chance. They really jumped into it. So Bernard's sitting one off the fence, 3-4 lengths off them. He's quite happy just to patiently wait his turn now, but has given them start from the jump and racing a little bit green. But things do happen in Cape Town. It's a very long straight, and it can be forgiving when you're going around a turn like this.
Well, she looks like she knows nothing. That she's by Fort Wood out of a Rich Man's Gold mare, and bred by Vulgabor's Drift, as we said, owned by Wendy Applebaum in her colours with Mary. And she's now second last, this filly, and she's off the bit, and she's been off the bit basically the whole way. She hasn't been able to go with them. And she's just got a big action. Kenilworth in the winter, it's not that easy, but she goes up the inside there. Big, long striding filly, this. And we like the way she just put her head down and kept plugging away.
I think so, James. And coming right up the inside too is not easy for these kind of horses, first timers.
She drifted from 33 to 10 to 14 to 1. So they must have known something about it. But really keeps on going, Nima. And we think this is one that you've got to put in your black book. Certainly if she go a mile next time, she'd be very, very hard to beat. And I like the look of that run. It looked pretty good to me. Let's go and have a look at Scottsville. Second race, this was Sunday, the 21st, and we picked up the Canamare runner. Now, this has had a couple of runs, so you think a bit strange to pick it up. Bred to go a trip by Ideal World. It's very nice to see all three of them have come from the Maritzfontein Wilgerbos Drift band, and we're going to go and have a look at this one, trained by Dean Canamare, and Carl Nicias was aboard it. Didn't get away too well.
Yeah, slow away. I don't, if I recall, I think James only had one run. It's only had one. This is a second start. I think it ran 8 lengths behind them first time. I'm open to correction. But slow away, Carl's at it all the way. It is absolutely, if you actually watch there now, we just had an Egyptian geese go underneath the whole field and came out the other side as strong as a lion. So, but
is that called a lucky goose?
I don't know if it's a lucky goose, but I think the jock in front might have to change his underrods. But this horse is never, ever, ever on the bit travelling, and at Scottsville, as firm as it is now, doesn't help. And out the picture at the moment too, but before the cameras had switched over, Carl was really, really smacking it down the shoulder and trying to keep it in the race. So not just the greenness, I think this horse also looking for a little bit further as well.
Yeah, the winner, Celtic Captains, absolutely cruising in 4th place, going very nicely indeed, and Gavin Fitzel's in mate. And once he let that go, Warren Kennedy, he looks like a nice horse, Celtic Captain. It strode away from them, but look how far behind Carl's runner is, going up the inside. That's not the easiest. He gets a good smack there, gets another good smack, still doesn't look like he can run a place. No,
he's absolutely in a hopeless position. There are horses in front of him. He decides to go in, then decides to go out, and then goes back in again. This, I thought, was quite courageous of him. He gets a run up the inside like this, but he really, really cuts the distance down, although Warren is a little bit easy on his horse in front. I agree with you. I think that horse, he won his race at the top of the straight, but that is a fantastic run, and I think knowing Dean's horses improve like that, next time over 1,800, 2,000, hard horse to beat.
Probably might even run on July Day, you'd find this horse. You know, they have that 1,900 metre race on July Day. You might find he's in the weights there, but
it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, and I think Dean's not stupid. He nominates his horses and he brings him here to race. So he's not going to put him in cotton wool now and take him back to Cape Town and hoping that he's going to win a race. I like to see he goes home maybe a 1 or 2 time winner.
Excellent. We're going to move on and have a look at Blast from the Past, where we've got Vodacom Durham July, and we'll be able to chat to Kevin after we've run it. It was one of the big ones for Mike de Kock.
Gates are open, soft falling rain, pulling clear, soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2,000 guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells, soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
Set. A stampede of class leaves the machine at the 2,200 meter marker, and slow out the gate was Safwan, Stone Laster Safwan. Big City Live, Bravura is pressing up in the early stages. Emerald Cove's around them. A lot of jostling in behind runners there. A couple of runners had to be taken up. Galileo's Destiny, one of those. Castlethorpe to the inside, checked for a stride or two. Past Master Igugu finds the lead, and the filly Igugu at a sedate pace from Emerald Cove. Happy Landings moving around them. Bravura and Big City Life the next call. Past Master, Pierre Jourdan and Bulsara run for it, looking to get onto the inside running rail. Superstorm follows them through. The Apaches 9-10 lengths off them. New leader now, Happy Landing, picks it up and starts to stretch away. Flirtation, Galileo's Destiny. Castlethorpe back to the inside. The speed's now been hit up front. In behind these is Lion in Winter. Saffron is the trailer. Blackwing just in front of these. They move to the 1,000 meter marker. Happy Landing has the call, a length and a half. Igugu travels majestically at the rail with Emerald Cove. Bravura's on the outside and Big City Life, Past Master, Pierre Jourdan, Bulsara. Flirtation 6 lengths off them. English Gardens between runners. Run for it's on the inside. English Gardens got the 6 lengths to make up. The red cap of Galileo's Destiny. Superstorm. The Apaches between them. Lion in Winter, Blackwing and Castlethorpe. Homeward bound, Happy Landing, Igugu and Emerald Cove. Bravura's on the outside. Big City Life, Pierre Jourdan. 300 to go. Igugu strikes the front. Emerald Cove down the centre. Bravura, English Gardens running on. Big City Life between them comes home. Igugu, Big City Life, Pierre Jourdan, English Garden, Emerald Cove. It's Igugu and Pierre Jourdan. English Gardens flying. Igugu, flash of fire blazed through the field to beat Pierre Jourdan. English Garden, the Apaches between them, but Igugu has risen to the occasion. She travelled well and she crowns it all. Igugu, Anthony Delpeche for the Mike de Kock stable.
Well, that was one of the classics. Igugu, she was a champion. She proved she was a champion in the July. You ended up riding. I don't think that you got the pick of the rides.
No, Galileo's Destiny. 2 weeks before the July, I rode him at the Summerfeld, and I took him for a gallop on the bottom track, and I couldn't get him on the track. He bolted with me, stuck me into a fence. I had a big black eye and everything, and the Thursday Mike de Kock came and said, "What happened to you, Kevin?" I said, "I think Galileo's Destiny took off with me and stuck me through." He said, "Don't you worry, I'll put the groom on it." So the groom took it. He could, instead of turning into the pole where I turned it, he went straight to end up in the academy. So I said, "Mark, that's a lovely baby." But I rode him. He was a very, very good, talented horse as a young horse, but he ended up a very aggressive horse and didn't enjoy us. But it was a great race. I mean, if you look at the jockeys there, Dougie White, champion, ran second on a horse, back from 11 to 1 to 9 to 1, Pierre Jourdan, the star one. I don't know if the 2-2 was just maybe a touch too far for him, but you had Andrew Fortune still riding there. I mean, you had Billy Jacobson, our pacemaker. Yeah. Unfortunately, you missed the break in the July. There's one of the races you don't miss the break in. The July is a race you got to get about. Keris Teton, flying the colours in Hong Kong, had a great season and has been offered another contract for next year. Gavin Larena, our top jockey this year, he's at 160, 170 winners, fighting for his life and deserves to win a jockey's champion. Glenn Hatt, unfortunately, he's got the same as I had. You get injured, and that's good night nurse. Apparently, he's had bone taken out of his hand to try and fuse his wrist net, and Joey Ramsford told me it's not looking very good for Glenn, and it's sad because I mean we don't want to go out the game with injuries and that. You would like to go out with a nice big party at Greyville and get 9 races named after you and enjoy it, and thank you very much because the game has been so good to us. And again, there's Derek David. He ran second last. He's flying the colours in Mauritius. So great jockeys, and some of the horses there. Past Master went on to win the Met. There's Big City Life. Unfortunately, we lost him after this year, the next year later. So a great July. I think full of merit. The right horse won 5-2 to 2-1 in July. It's serious money. I think I would be open to correction. The rest of them 9-1, 11-1, 12-1, 28-1, 33-1. It's one of those Julys where the cream came to the top and the rest of the guys were fighting for their lives.
All right, well, I'm going to ask you the leading question. This was the year Igugu came out and won. We've got Majmu this year in exactly the same position, but she's 6-1, 11-2, 7-1 you can almost get about this filly. This is, I would think, a ridiculous price on what we've seen.
Well, was
Igugu better than her?
It's hard to tell at the moment. You know, these fillies are... Majmu's taken on the colts last time. older horses, Wiley Hall, I thought that was a fantastic run. The rest of the time should be with fillies. Igugu had only taken on the colts in the July. Same as Ipitombi. She'd only taken on the fillies until the July. So, listen, Mark de Kock with the fillies in the July, 6-1. It's got to be value for money. Both got the same weight, 55. I'm starting to think, after speaking to Mr. Phil Georgia just now, he's put some little interest in me. And I know there's 1 or 2 guys on the races. I know that doubles and trebles are already going into this filly, and they're not looking past.
Okay, well, that was a blast from the past. As you know, we're leading up to what's going to be a fabulous July. All the signs are there that's just going to be as exciting as any of the others that we've ever had. But we're going to have a look at the plum of the week.
Got about 3 lengths to make up. Cutting Edge, Sharp, and now Muwari starting to warm up. And Muwari comes into the lead under the hands at the 200 from Cutting Edge. Down the inside, Hot August and Sharp, but it's a matter of how far. And Muwari under the hands to win it by 2 or 3. Muwari's got it 1. The second position will go to Roy's Rolls Royce, then Sharp and Cutting Edge.
Well, every weekend you've got to look for something to have a bet on so that you can pay for all your weekend expenses. This horse, Muwari, was even money on Interbet. Ended up 6-10, 11-20. It looked like an absolute blinder, run in a Group 1 the time before.
Absolutely, James. I spoke to Anthony Delpeche about it. He said, this is a machine. And you could see he won a very good race. Turned for him, top of the straight, he had them cold, pulled it out, and he went on. And when he came back to the winner's box, I had a good look at him. It's a beautiful specimen. I think very well prepared and plenty to come from this horse. He doesn't look soft, but you can see he can still grow into himself.
Interesting, he's by O'Reilly. Now, O'Reilly's a champion sire in New Zealand at the moment.
This Mark de Kock team, they found them all over the world. And they do, I don't know, shake hand them. I think if you've got the right checkbook, you can find these horses. And Mark finds them, and they're not all the Jet Masters, they're not all the dynasties. He goes overseas and he finds them in Ireland, in England, everywhere, New Zealand. I mean, it's fantastic to see.
Well, there you go. Interbet's your place to be if you want to have a bet. We're going to take a break and we'll be back after the next race. Right, well, don't miss the Bloodstock South Africa sale at Suncoast on the 2nd of July. You've got to be there. It's a fabulous sale. There have been some very good horses bought off that sale, and I think this year will be no different. It's always a great sale. It's
a great sale, James. They really get, I think, bargains there, value for money, and the big boys are always in town for the July and that, and they all go there. It's quite a social event as well. I mean, the guys get together and have a glass of wine and chat and have a look around and try and find something. But there has been some lovely horses come off that sale.
What's interesting about the sale is it started off as a KwaZulu-Natal sale, and mostly KwaZulu-Natal horses. But you now see Bull and Stud send their whole draft, the Freemans. Yeah. Mary sending horses. There's horses from everywhere coming now. Highlands have got horses on it. This is a good sale to go and have a look at.
Very good. When you get the very slack horses and the Boerland horses, it just makes it more interesting, and they're well-bred horses too. And you get value. I mean, you haven't got the guys from overseas pushing you up to 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 rand. You can maybe for 150 pick up a very well-bred horse and have a chance.
Looking for the July in a couple of years' time. That's what we're going to be doing. But let's go and have a look at Royal Ascot. It was a week to remember at Royal Ascot. The attendances were up from 285 to 293,000 people. So it was absolutely fantastic. And there were a few highlights at Royal Ascot. Probably Ryan Moore, one of them.
Absolutely. The Magnificent Nine. They said if you put £1 on all his winners, you would have walked out with 2,700,000 or something pounds.
And if you put £1 on all his losers, you would have lost £1.
You would have lost. Yeah,
How do you find the 9? Because there were a couple that looked like good things on the way that got rolled over.
Yeah, he's 1 or 2. He gave. I thought he was right. His riding on the week was magnificent. He was giving those horses every chances, and 1 or 2 of the short prices, he was sitting in very good positions, and just nothing goes on with it. But James, I've been there, and I've had a chance to ride on those tracks. I mean, to ride 9 winners over 4 days, you just can't believe it. And I think I only had 3 rides over the 4 days, and I was happy to be there. But it is unbelievable atmosphere. They really, I mean, you've been there. It's just something. It's just got so big. And I'm a betting man. I think that the crowd attendance is getting bigger, and it's all the who's who in the world go there. Not just the racing people. It's all the Grand Prix guys that own the Jordans, the tennis players. They all go there. It's a social event. And Ladies' Day is magnificent. All the ladies dress up with their hats, and last year they had the wind blowing 100 miles an hour, and the hats were coming off, and the skirts were going up, and the photographers were going mad. This year they had 4 days of perfect weather, and it was absolutely magnificent to watch. And also we had the Derby, a perfect day for our boy Mr. Cantor.
Okay, well, let's go and have a look. We picked out one race to watch there, and we thought Ryan Moore's probably the best winner of the whole lot was the Prince of Wales Stakes on Wednesday. We'll pick them up at about the 700-metre mark. This is a training feat of note by Dermot Weld. This horse has had untold problems, but he's obviously very good.
There's the Grey Gatsby, Criterion battling on against the running rail. Cannock Chase trying to get out. Spielberg's holding him in. The Grey Gatsby coming with a challenge. Free Eagle is leading as they head to the closing stages. Western Hymn is coming to join him. The Grey Gatsby is a length off them in 3rd position. In behind those Cannock Chase, but it's Free Eagle showing in front. The Grey Gatsby is trying to get to him, and he's making progress. Free Eagle shows in front. The Grey Gatsby is closing with every single stride. Free Eagle just, I think, to the Grey Gatsby. Western Hymn narrowly in 3rd.
Well, my mistake. That was Pat Smullen aboard the winner of the Prince of Wales Stakes. We actually wanted to show the St James Palace because we wanted to chat about Glen Eagles, who won the St James Palace Stakes, and he looks like the best 3-year-old around over a mile. He's won the 2 Guineas, the English and the Irish, and now the St James Palace.
He's a top horse, James. I just these Europeans, they bring these horses out, and I mean they are special horses. I think that Ryan Moore was a little bit unlucky there. He had Maxime Gougnan on his back, pushing him in all the time. Great Gatsby found a bit of trouble, but Pat Smullen had the run of the race. And we had Chad Schofield at his first ride in Royal Ascot there on Citation or
Criterion. Yeah.
Gave it a peach of a ride. Sat it on the fence. Had his mom and dad flew out from Australia to support them, and Whitney, and he gave it a peach of a ride. Got a run up the inside, which is you don't often get, and the horse just wasn't good enough. These Australian horses that go there, I think they find the going quite tough, and the hills. I mean, you're coming up Swinley Bottom there. It's like going up Fields Hill. These horses, if they aren't used to it and they haven't been training up hills, they just can't handle it. They have to run out of puff.
Interesting you said Chad Schofield had his first ride there. Apparently the word on the websites is that he's having his first ride in the July this year.
The rumour is out that he's getting a ride in the July, so it'll be interesting, and I think it's quite a good ride.
Yeah. So, well, we can mention it because it's in the press.
Yeah, it's the conglomerate.
Yeah,
isn't it?
The conglomerate.
Yeah, so him and Joey Ramsden, it's going to be interesting to see where he runs and what the banter will be after the race. But I read in the website too, he's been offered a license in Hong Kong as well, and his father done very well there too. And I think it'll be quite silly of him if he doesn't take up the opportunity for 1 season at least, and go and see how good it is. Richard Free done it, and he found it a bit tough to live there with the kids and that, and he came back, and he's apparently been offered a contract and going next season as well. So we're going to lose Richard Free to Hong Kong. So any jockeys out there looking to get some decent rides, get Justin Snaith's phone number and go down and ride some work.
Andrew Fortune's in favour.
That'll be lovely to
see. Someone to brighten up the morning at that Snaith stable. Can you imagine? We've got the Snaith twins.
One or two will start very, very short, as you know. But I know Justin will put 4 in the race, and Andrew will be back with Joe Ramsden in 2 weeks.
Just talking about the rest of the things that happened at Royal Ascot. Well, Frankie rode 3 winners, and he looks like he's back on the go. But Wesley Ward, the guy he rode 2 for, the American trainer, won the 2 sprint races. Those Americans, different class of sprinters.
Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if Wesley Ward's horses still come to Mark's yard. But when I was in Thingy, Wesley Ward, it was his first season there, and he brought the horses there. And Karen Fallon and Kirsty Mikowicz used to come and ride them and work them, and he used to pop in every now and again, and he had a winner on his first Royal Ascot meeting. So if they are still there, he's a hell of a nice guy. His horses are in very, very good condition. They're very well looked after, and I think he's making this now a yearly little trip and bringing horses out.
Sad. Well, they put up a statue of Frankel, the Queen did, which was unveiled a statue of Frankel at the Ascot parade there, and that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
To honour your champions.
Very, very, very fitting too, because he was a true champion, a true legend. And there are a couple of other statues up there too of very, very good horses.
Just a couple of things on the meeting. That horse Solo, who won the Dubai Duty Free, he won the Queen Anne Stakes, and we got a pretty good line through him. Interesting, Abel Friend ran down the field, the Hong Kong superstar. That shows how different the turf is. The turf in Hong Kong is totally different to the turf at Ascot.
Turf in Hong Kong is firm, very firm. Very minimal grass on it, maybe a centimetre or 2 of grass, and it's very firm, but drains very well. It's not a clay base. I always said all along that the horse is not going to do well there. And I don't think there was much support for him. I don't think he started off favoured. I'm not 100% sure. But I knew he was going to battle that, because we've taken South African horses over there and they can't handle that going. The winners that we've had over there are all ex-O'Brien horses, Eagle Mountain, Archie Pinker. They've raced on that surface before. They know what it's about. They know about the hills. They know about that. But these Hong Kong horses and even the Australian horses, as we'll see further down the line, he gets beat as well. They battle in the going.
All right, and the sad news from the websites was that the champion, Joe Janik's horse, Takeover Target, broke his leg again in a paddock accident, and he's gone. But he was the darling of Ascot in his time, went 3 times.
Yeah, he was absolute, what a character the guy was, Joe.
The taxi driver.
Yeah, that horse used to be with us at Mark's Yard in Newmarket, and yeah, Joe was an absolute character. He used to wait for the pub to open, and the pubs open early in England. Yeah. We used to work his horse. I think it was a $2,000 purchase, wasn't it?
Yeah, $1,250.
$1,250. He was getting a fortune as a taxi driver. Next minute he was a trainer, and he took on the world and conquered. So I hope he doesn't give all that money back.
Well, he said the horse made him a multi-millionaire. He won $6 million in prize money. And so when the horse passed on, he said the horse stuck out a few bookmakers and made a few people multi-millionaires. So he said he was a fantastic horse.
Absolutely. No, he was a fantastic horse, and he was a fantastic guy to talk to.
Well, the big season is upon us, but let's go and have a look at what's going on in South Africa. We had 3 races, and we're going to kick off with the Grade 2 Post Merchants. Let's pick them up at the 800-metre mark.
Espana's on the outside of runners, and Equity Kickers about 6 or 7 lengths off them with Daring Dave. Then Show Me the Way, Diamond King, Brood of Fours. As they move towards the 500-metre mark, and Shakes Brashi, the leader, early in 3/4. Near the rail on the inside is Royal Zulu Warrior, Willow Magic, Norman's on the outside, and then Royal Security Power, Aurum Pot, and down the inside is Tevez as they turn for home in the Post Merchants. And it's Norman's who comes into the lead. Willow Magic coming around around for a claim. Diamond King tries to run on. Normans goes to the inside. Moofeed's running on from nowhere. But it's Willow Magic and Moofeed over the last 100. Moofeed, Willow Magic being kept together. Moofeed and Willow Magic, nothing in it. Moofeed, Willow Magic, Daring Dave. I think Daring Dave won it. Daring Dave from Moofeed and Willow Magic. A thriller. Well, what an absolute thriller.
Well, an absolute thriller. Moofeed always seems to get there and get beaten.
I've spoken to Anthony about this horse, and he says he wish this horse had been gelded, but I think Sheikh Mohammed doesn't want to geld him. He does it all the time. He gets here to win the race. He does it. He's done it in Joburg, and he drew badly today. And Anthony said, I was standing with him in the parade, and he said they're going to just drop him in behind. I said, these horses that do that love it. You could put his head in at the right time. And it looked like he had timed it to perfection. He had got there to win the race, and you actually see him pull out of it. So I think he's a little bit of a pig of a horse. It's not maybe the right word to say, but the horses that don't try, that's what you say. But I mean, this whole race had such a different outcome. We had the false start. If it was a false start, I don't know. I haven't chatted to Strike Australia. And when you watch the slow motion, the pens seem to open the same time. The one looks like it opens maybe a fraction earlier, but Willow Magic, he's a nutter in the gates. He shouldn't have been in the gates that early. He goes in last all the time, and they put him in third last. And I think he got an absolute flyer when that gap opened. That, like JJ the jet plane, when the first millimetre of those pens open, they're gone. They beat the pens for the magnets to hold the side of them. So I don't know. And the fourth horse, Aurum Pot. I mean, he gets beat 2 lengths. He galloped right around Virtue right. He galloped the full length of the Merchants and took him back. He was in a dripping sweat. He still ran fourth. Willow Magic also too, no easy puppy to control, and that, I mean, the horse's head's in there. So I feel that, listen, I'm not taking away from Justin Snaith. When there was a false start, he said, I'm so happy now my horse is warmed up, because in the Gilbeys, he stood in the pens for 4.5 minutes, and he says the horse went cold on him, and he doesn't think he got a run for his money. So for me, I'm not taking it away from the winner, but I honestly think if it wasn't a false start, there could have been changes here. I mean, Willow Magic got beat short head.
Just looking at Daring Dave, by Dynasty, bred by Highlands, so another great Highlands bred dynasty. Sprint, stay, they do everything, don't they?
They just come out week in, week out. Dynasty baby, first timer, you can bet your bottom dollar the bookmakers flash them up short, because not many of them can't run.
Okay, we're going to go from here and have a look at Gold Circle Oaks on Sunday. They've changed this to an open race, and so it shows. Let's go and have a look at the last 800 metres.
Vino Veritas, Supersede and Mojave Princess, mid-division, 8 lengths off them. Bountiful Harvest, Square Dance, yet to be asked any questions. Patch It Up Baby, Ulma, and still at the back is Counting Angels. Homeward bound in the Gold Circle Oaks, just on 5:50 to go, Saint Sophia. Ash Cloud looks dangerous between runners. Vino Veritas, Shingwedzi looms large. Ulma looks to run on. Ash Cloud hit the front at the 300-metre marker. Starts to lug towards the centre. Gallica Rosa starting to run on. Patch It Up Baby extreme outside, gathering fame. Here comes Gallica Rosa, the good-looking challenge. Vino Veritas and Ash Cloud over the last 100. Patch It Up Baby, Gallica Rosa and Vino Veritas. Ash Cloud comes back for more. Gallica Rosa and Ash Cloud not going to split them. Ash Cloud came right back at the winning post. Gallica Rose, Vino Veritas, Patch It Up Baby.
Well, the XYO mooring in mate Ash Cloud, she'd won an Oaks this filly. She ends up getting up, but what a finish, 5 of them in a row.
Absolutely, I thought it was a great finish, great ride by Richard Fourie. Justin Snaith went on the websites and said, this is this filly's mission. Guys, this is what we've come in for, and he was spot on. She was all over the show. She must have run an extra 10 metres inside, outside. I think she needed horses around her or close to her to pull along, and at the finish they were there, and that's where she put her head in front. So fantastic training feat, fantastic ride by Richard Fourie. And listen, Gavin Franzel's horse has done nothing wrong in its last 2. He got beat short head. The second horse, the Highlands horse, there's nothing wrong with that too. It's a great race. I mean, this is what we come to. And I mean, there's short heads that's separating guys that are going to make money.
Well, when you find that these sort of weight for age races, which was basically a weight for age race, you very seldom find 6 horses finishing within a length of each other, and they were very close. And the next one was even closer. So let's go and have a look at the Derby.
On the back of the field, Kingston Mines in the Track and Ball Derby, Grade 2 in front, enjoying his gallop by a length. Master James, Savage Wind. Then comes French Revolution, Double Clutch. Hot Ticket's got his 6 lengths to make up. Crambambuli second to last. Disco L watches all. Kingston Mines at the top of the lane. Savage Wind goes in. Master James, then comes French Revolution. Hot Ticket's now about to be asked the question. He's still got 4 lengths to make up. Master James runs on. Towards the outside, French Revolution. Hot Ticket starting to warm up and Disco L on the outside. Hot Ticket starts to pick up Master James the last 100 and Disco L's running on. Kingston Mines, Savage Wind, it's wide open. Master James, Kingston Mines, Disco L and Hot Ticket over the top. What a finish! Whoa, I'm not going to split this again. Disco L put his nose down with Hot Ticket. Kingston...
The stayers.
Well, there you go. Disco L, Globetrotter. He's been Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, back in Durban. What a finish this was. Hot Ticket looks like a horse for the Gold Cup, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Stays like a poor relative.
Yeah.
I thought he ran a great race. Cole gave him every chance. Got there to win the race. And
got run over.
Anton Marcus, the horse that came from behind him, was tagging his tail the whole way. And Cole was a winner of stride before and a stride afterwards. It doesn't help him win the race, but I mean, it just shows you they're travelling at 60 kilometres an hour. It can go against you.
Kev, it's been a great week's racing. We've seen some fun, but just talking about the week ahead of us, we've got a great program coming up on Sunday night. Instead of Breeding to Win, it's called Legends of the African Turf. And I hear you one of the starring, are you Orson Welles in it? Or?
Yeah, I got the nod. Myself, Brad Pitt. No, I'm only joking. Yeah, we're doing a insert on all the Julys and what's been happening in the Julys, and we got Mark de Kock, which is, I mean, a legend of the game. Who else with more info that you want?
Felix Coetzee.
Felix Coetzee, who's ridden as how many winners in the July, 3 or 4, and he's stable. I think every time he never won it, the stable companion won it. And we've got Neil Andrews hosting it as well. So we'll be there having a go and just trying to let the public know about what's happened in the past and hopefully what's going to happen in the future. It's going to be very interesting to see. It's my first real sit down with Neil Andrews and have one of these full out discussions. There's a little bit of homework to be done about it too, and reading up and finding out and watching videos, and so it's going to be quite interesting. So that'll be done this afternoon, and on Sunday night it'll be broadcast. I can't wait to see it.
Teletrack Sunday night, that's what you're going to be able to watch that, and we're going to now come back and have a look at what's going on in your court.
Legislates on the outside. Ventura gets going at the end of the race, but as they come to the line, number 5, Wiley Hall, rises up. The Australian import, Wyomore is MJ Baderfeld.
Well, today's Your Call is touched with a tinge of sadness because our great friend and co-host here at Winning Ways and presenter for 21 years on Teletrack, top trainer, got the best horse he's ever had, is ill with a type of lymphoma. Paul Lafferty is not well, and we decided to start putting in motion a couple of things that need to happen when a guy in his position is not in great shape. And the problem being is that medical bills are going to be enormous, and Paul only has a hospital plan. Unfortunately, that's the trouble with racehorse trainers. We're not very wealthy and we're not very prudent with money, but we end up in situations where we don't take out the best plans. And so we, as the racing industry, are going to start the ball rolling by giving him some help. And I've got three great friends of his with us today: Kevin Shea, Trevor Fourie, and Phil Giorgio. And all these three guys have been an integral part of Paul Lafferty's life. But we're going to start off with the comedy evening, because all these events that are going to lead up to the July, we're going to try and make as part of benefits for Paul, so that he can be able to pay his medical expenses and not have the worry of where the money's coming from for the medical expenses. I must just say at the outset that already in the week that we've known that Paul hasn't been well, people have been unbelievable. Everyone in the racing industry that has known him has come forward. Magic Millions have said they'll help him. Friends from overseas have said they'll help. Everyone is prepared to help. So we're not looking for big handouts or anything. We just want everyone to know what's going on as far as the functions are concerned leading up to the July. And we start off with the comedy evening, because the comedy evening has been something that's been going for the July for many years. Phil, you've been the instigator of the comedy evening, and the comedy evening has helped many people as far as their lives are concerned that have been integral in racing.
Very much so, James. You know, we started off doing the comedy evening for the Nick Ray Foundation, and then we decided to add a little bit of a twist to it and added people from racing in need. And we've now decided to, where we've been helping people like Ricky Kleinsmith. We've helped a lot of people. I don't want to mention too many names because for obviously requests from those people, but people that are battling to survive, and we've helped them. And now we've just felt that somebody that's really close to us, that's put his life into racing all over the world, promoting the game, it's now time for payback time. And I know you said that we're not looking for a handout, but we're looking for the guys that are flush, that feel that Paul has touched their lives to now rally and payback time. And if you want to pledge or sponsor Hold at the Golf, or take a table at the comedy evening, buy a horse at the auction for the July at the comedy evening, we will ensure that the money goes to the right people for the right causes.
Right, let's have a look at the comedy evening. I'm going to hold up the placard here, and we'll see exactly what it's all about. Here we are. This it's the Nick Ray Foundation Comedy Evening. We've always had it as far as Nick Ray Foundation has been involved, and Ricky Smith and Nick Ray have been involved. The Ray family have been part of it, and that is on the Thursday night, and there's still tables available. If you'd like to book a table, it is great fun, and I'm sure that we'll be able to put together the same fun as always. We've got the hypnotist. Last year we had the hypnotist, or the year before.
Year before, yeah.
And we had a star of the show, Billy Jacobson, was something else. So we're going to hypnotize him again.
Yes, he's on again. He's been seconded onto the show, and he's going to be doing a little small part of the hypnotist. It's also a big part of it is mentalist this year as well, along with the comedy show band Abbott and Crab. And then we've got a little bit of a surprise also on the night, which we're not mentioning to people, but it will be a night of fun. As I said, there are tables available, but you don't have to fill up a table. If there's 4 of you or 2 of you and you want to come, we'll add you onto a table, and we'll make sure that you guys are in on the night.
Well, it's always great fun. We then move on to the Golf Day, which has been a late edition, and I'm going to hold up this. This is the Paul Lafferty Golf Day. It's a benefit golf day. We're having it at Mount Edgecombe, courses 1 and 2. There are 4 balls available. We'll get us up now and see if we can get it on the screen. There you go, Paul Lafferty's benefit golf day. And it's going to be a great evening. We're going to have fun. We'll probably have Derek Martin doing some auctioning. He's a laugh in himself, isn't he? He's a part of it. Trevor, you've always been a great benefactor in these golf days, and they've been fun. Normally the bookmakers used to have a golf day, but this is going to take its place, so it might be quite fortuitous.
It was always the day of the bookmakers golf day, but originally it started off as a Paul Lafferty and Dave Laverick golf day. The very first one was held out at the Bluff, and then the bookmakers took it out after that. And since then, it's always been a bookmakers day. This year they decided not to have it.
Well, just on that, the bookmakers feeling the pinch a bit. Are we sticking them out properly? You know?
No, it's not that. It's just that they feel that there's just so much going on, and that they almost felt that it had run its course. Some of us didn't believe it had. And we've actually, then all of a sudden Paul got sick, unfortunately. And Paul's always been the first to stick his hand up for charity. I must have been to 70, 80, I don't know, 100 events where he's been master of ceremony, made sure that all his mates were at the tables to support whatever function there was on. And that's when we said, no, now Paul has fallen sick. The last thing we want him to do is to worry about money.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than you sick and you've got the stress of the money. We know he's only got a hospital plan. So that's when we decided, let's get together as friends and get the racing family involved. And it's been amazing. There hasn't been one person that we've asked to either put in a 4-ball, sponsor a hole or whatever that hasn't come forward and stuck their hand up and said, we're in. It's a testament to who Paul is in the industry. He's well loved, well respected. He's been the face of racing for many years.
You know, Trevor, what is interesting is that what you touched on is he gives his time tirelessly to these charities. I know that he does Expro. He does he MCs a huge amount of functions for people who need to raise money. And I think that we've all in the racing industry got to put our hands up when someone like him falls on a problem like this, because this is a big problem. People don't understand how much medical bills can be. And the chemotherapy he's had, I just want to tell you, he's had 2 lots of chemotherapy already. He's going on to his 3rd lot of chemotherapy. He has got a type of lymphoma. There's no conclusive tests completed yet at this stage, but he's in good spirits. We've had a chat to him this morning, and you know, we just want to make sure that he doesn't have the stress of worrying about these things. The golf day is more about raising money than giving prizes away, although I'm sure that there will be people like, you know, there's Southern Sons and those guys will give away packages. We always get prizes, and you guys have always been able to get prizes.
James, we've only got 2 weeks from the start of the idea to the day of the thing. You cannot believe the people that have come forward already, and obviously we are looking for more people to come forward, but it's been amazing. We filled up 150 spots out of the 192 in an hour. You know, and the rest of now almost full. We're going to have a full day. The people are sponsoring the holes. They're coming forward with prizes. We were at breakfast the other morning, and a chap sitting at the table next to us heard us talking. He happens to open the local garage, and he knows Paul Lafferty. He sponsored a hole at the breakfast. And he's not a racing person or anything like that. He just said, no, he knows Paul Lafferty. He's in. Bill me for a hole. You know, and that's the type of support that we're getting. And it really tells the people what the type of man. I mean, there hasn't been a function that's been around for charity that Lef hasn't tagged all his mates along, and he's been in. He throws his weight behind it. Now it's the time for us to throw our weight behind it.
And all right, there's always the question as far as the money is concerned: who's going to look after that, and how's it going to be distributed? Have we got that all in place?
Yes. So Neil Loudon's opened a bank account. It will be signed by himself and myself, and it's to pay for Paul's hospital bills. And if he needs special nursing at a later stage, at the moment his wife is here. Jane is out for a few days, then she's going back, and then she'll be coming back. It's not to make Paul's life pay his home bills and everything like that. It's to pay his medical bills, and we will make sure that he gets the best medical care that he can get, and that we will take care of the bills as much as we can out of what the people donate to.
Well, it's fantastic Neil's come forward as well, because Neil's a great friend of his and has been for many years, and probably, you know, a couple of pairs of underpants would do quite well, you know, for all of us. I think you look like you need underpants.
Been on the bum for a while.
Kev, you've known Paul forever. He's just been a part of our lives. You know, to not have him here this morning is like, you know, where is he? But we know he'll pull through.
Absolutely. Not to have him at races on Saturday in the teletrack and our little booth with Dees and Sheldon. We have our laughs and jokes, and the best cameraman in the town, Zane, will tell you, we laugh and we have good fun. But Lef, and Phil and Trevor, I've been around the world with these guys and lived in their homes overseas, and seen Lef and these golf days when he's an MC. I mean, there is no better person. And I've got this is going to make my wife feel so good. I've got so many pictures and framed jerseys and that in my garage, because I haven't got enough space in my house to put them. I've had to. We've scaled down a bit now. It's just my wife and I, Kim and I, on our own. And these things are 8, 10 deep, and I'm only too happy to bring 4 or 5 out there that are going to auction, and it's going to be a pleasure. And I would like to put a dustbin with a little slit in it, and everybody that knows Paul Lafferty, if he's made you laugh, give it a donation. And I think we'll need 10 buckets there, because there's not one person in the world that when I've been with Lef, he hasn't made them laugh. And he is, it's something that his humor is just unbelievable. We all thought he was in the wrong game. We said, give up training and get onto stage. I mean, Phil's been to all the comedy shows. I mean, the golf days he has there. I mean, the guys are crying with laughter. He is absolutely,
well,
he's magnificent what he does in everything, and it was good to see him get a good horse.
Yeah.
Harry's, when I say he hasn't had, this is a proper Group 1 horse, a proper horse.
Yeah.
And that's what he lived for, and that's what he dreamt for, and that's his passion, and that's... I started with him in Ashburton, and he was working for Herman Brown Jr., and look at him today.
Yeah. Well, we got to, you know, life goes on, and we're going to do our best for him,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure the racing people will do our best, but it's a big couple of weeks coming up, and I'm glad I got you guys here, because Phil, let me start with you. You're quite astute. You seem to work out the July, what's going on. Don't put on that dumb face of yours. But give us, you know, you're mates with a couple of other big guys like Michael Azzi. What's going on as far as the July is concerned? How do you read it?
You know, if I try and analyse it at this point in time before the draws come out, I think this year more than ever the draw is going to be a massive factor. I don't think Marjorie's had the best of preps because she's obviously got her problems because she keeps getting into races or going to be nominated to run. She's having to be scratched. I believe in my heart she's the best 3-year-old around, colts or fillies. And if she's right on the day, she'll make them run if she draws well. But the horse with the best prep is Wiley Hall. In my opinion, I think this is the year that maybe there's going to be a hard luck story where maybe the gods of the Vodacom July come back and say, sorry, we maybe should have given it. I made a mistake. And yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I really hope that Laf's treatment in the near future goes well, because it will be sad not to have him around the July, the comedy evening. He's confident that he'll be back on the show here next Monday, but you know, that's Laf. He's always positive, and he's always got, he's always the right, you know. And when I look at him, he's the guy that's promoted eating correctly, and he's gone off meat, and he's gone off sugar. He's read that sugar book, and he's gone off sugar. And I don't think he's had enough steaks, and he's obviously had enough tequilas because of this. It's come and grabbed him.
Yeah.
Just shows you that the big C doesn't have any favourites, and it's got no bearing on who it goes to. It just, if it's there, you've got to just try and treat it the right way.
Trev, you've been a bookmaker all your life probably, and the July is big payday for the bookmakers. It started off as a great payday already because Legislate, the early favourite, got withdrawn. So you got all that cash already. So already you guys have got the saves bulging. Now what are you going to do from here?
James, I think this, for me personally, this is the quietest July I've ever had in the 2019 years.
Oh, geez, a sad story. You know, the bookmaker, Phil, you know that every year, the quietest July we've ever had. When they get 8 outsiders winning on a day and one horse that's 5-2, you don't know how much money there was for the 5-2 shot. It ruined our day.
Bookmakers only know 2 chips, James. When the favourites win, they did their lives. And when the favourites get beat, it's been very quiet. That's only 2 chips.
Okay, so tell us.
No, there hasn't been much money because I think there's been a bit of uncertainty into what's going to run and what's not going to run. Whereas the other years, you've had your top 20 in the log and you've known roughly 16 of those are definite runners. But with Majmu, there was a bit of uncertainty whether it is going to run, whether it's not going to run because it kept on getting scratched. Legislate, there was a question mark all the time, are they going to run or not? So the people were scared this year to actually start taking the doubles in as early as what they have the years before. There's no doubt it picks up closer to the race, and there is no other race meeting in the country that comes close to the July for turnover. So we're not crying that, but this year so far, because I think the punters have been a little bit nervous as to what is actually going on.
So how do you read it? Do you think that it's a 1-horse race or 2-horse race? Wiley Hall, Futura, obviously, you know, people think that the last run maybe wasn't that good.
I think they've got to just ignore the last run because it was obviously Legislate's race to win. Justin Snaith even came on TV before and said this is the race for Legislate and it's a prep run for the other one. So just ignore that run. It will be the horse on the day to beat. The only thing is the weight. But I think it's the more open race that we've seen because all of a sudden Legal Eagles come from nowhere to be the favourite. I don't think it was the strongest field that it beat last time out. At 22-10, I think as a bookmaker, I'd love to lay that.
Kev, you've been quite vociferous in the years past. I remember that there was one of Woodruff's horses that you said it couldn't run a place. I think it was hot favourite at Retro. Yard Arm, yeah. And so you've been quite a good judge. And I know that the only one better than you is Shake 'em to Bones. But you'd be there up there with the best. How do you see him?
Shake 'em Bonesy. After he smoked his joint and he throws his bones, whatever comes up, we just scratch because he hasn't hit the boards once. I hope Laf's going to be there at the July Gallops. I don't know. But Laf used to get all shaken bonesy up a bit. But yeah, listen, I think Trevor hit the nail on the head. There's been a lot of uncertainty in the July this year. Is Mojmu going to go overseas? Is she going into quarantine? Is this, is that? Legislate scratch. What's Marcus going to ride? Legal Eagle come from nowhere. Although he beat older horses with 61.5 or so, I thought it was quite impressive. But and then speaking to Sean Terry, I mean, French Navy's really done nothing wrong.
Absolutely.
He's come in with a fantastic weight. I mean, he gets weight from Mojmu, and he's won at Greyville. He comes from off the pace. Sean says if the July was run at Turffontein, Legal Eagle's will never beat. I mean, French Navy will never finish in front of Legal Eagle, but it's not running. It's running at Greyville. It's going to be interesting. It's a tight track now. I think we've got 18 runners, have we? 18 runners with 2 emergencies. The Gold Circle have widened that backstretch. As you can see, they've got the new big sign there. This is where the champions start, or this is where the champions begin. It's an unbelievable sign they got there where the July starts in the background. And it's going to be a rough race. When I say rough, I hope the guys not going to try and kill each other, bring each other down. But it's going to be a.
Once you've got an Australian apprentice, it's going to be rough.
Well, leave it to the Aussies, mate. Leave it to the Aussies, mate. He's going to get an eye opener. There's no friends in the July. It's just get out there, get a position. You've got to have an aggressive horse. I've ridden some horses before that aren't aggressive enough to get into the race, and you get shuffled out the back door. But
that brings me to the next question, and probably the final question: pace. How do we see the pace? Every year we talk about the pace and whether it has a bearing, and every year it has a bearing, and they normally go slower than they go faster.
I know, that's the killer that kills me. When I watch the old tapes of the old Julys with Sea Cottages in those days, those guys used to gallop along it. The best horse always wins if it's a good pace. I think the pace is going to be very important, and the draw this year is, if Legislate, I mean, the favourite, not the favourite, Futura draws 15. I think he'll start 20-1. Because for him to have to drop out and give them all start again off a slow run race, or have to chase him around and then all of a sudden something goes with him, it could be trouble. So I don't think Wiley Hall is going to let them have it. I mean, he went to the front last year. They turned for him 1-2. Wiley Hall and Legislate turned for him 1-2.
Well, he pulled along at his own pace, didn't he?
Exactly. Yeah. And they walked around last year. I mean, Louis the King's never been on the bit in his life before. I actually clipped horses' heels and nearly fell. He was climbing over horses. So it didn't suit me. I was actually a bit stupid. I should have gone around them. But when you ride the July favourite, you always think, what happens? I go around them and go and join them up there, and the horse runs second last. I say, what are you doing? You know the horse comes from behind.
Yeah, you took the yard arm wouldn't run a place. That's what that did.
Yeah, I knew something on the Mondays. That's why.
I want some of that stuff that Kevin's smoking, because if Futura draws 47, he'll never start 20-1.
I'd like 20-1. I was going to say, Trev, can we get a bit of 20-1?
Yeah. If I haven't got my jockey's license, then I'll be laying 20-1. You guys can come.
Give us a quick summary of how do you think they'll run in the July?
Listen, I'm a Sean Terry fan at the moment. He's done nothing wrong this whole season, and he's won all the races. And I thought one of his horses definitely win it. The conglomerate's been good to me, watching him, and I quite like the horse with Chad Schofield. I don't know how it's going to go. He's a good rider, so they haven't got a mug on him. After listening to Phil with Mojmu, and I'll be able to speak to Mark during the next thing. We'll put that into the. It's not an easy July this year. I think. It could be a massive upset.
Trev, what would you like to lay in the July?
I'd like to lay the favourite if you can lay it under 5-2.
Yeah, so you think the favourites will lay it under 5-2?
Yeah, under 5-2.
And what would you back if you had a chance?
I don't back at all.
That's why as a top bookmaker, Philly, you and I, we both have a go. We don't care.
Very simple. Wiley, Hall or Mojmu, whichever draws the best, have your bet.
That's where you're going. I'm going to put up I think we've got a telephone number that we're going to be able to put up. Where we got a telephone number? No, we haven't got a telephone number. If you need to chat to anyone about Paul, the golf day, the comedy evening, you chat to Phil. If you can't get hold of Phil, you chat to Trevor. If you can't get hold of Trevor, well then you're not only going to be able to chat to Kevin and I, because we've got very, very full schedules. We've got a lot of things to do. So it's got to be Phil Georgia or Trevor Fourie or Neil Loudon one of the three you get hold of, see if you can support the Paul Lafferty benefit. And we, just from all of us here, and I think you guys will concur, to Paul, you have a speedy recovery, mate. We need you back here.
I can't agree with you more.
From us, you're going to have a good week's racing. And just remember, friends that you have, remember that they're not here forever. Look after every single moment you've got. Have a great week's racing.
The second position, but Military Roses giving them a bath. That's one of the biggest millions I've ever seen. Grace Villana, the leader. Grace Villana. Grace Villana.
Champion Season, All-Star Horse Racing.
Once I rode a horse for a KwaZulu-Natal based trainer, and he said to me first time out at Clearwood, this horse is a very nice horse, he just needs a little bit further. So it was a 1400 metres and I drew 2 and I jumped out, and when I turned for home I was 6 wide and the horse ran 4th. And I came back and he said to me, "What are you doing? Why are you running so wide?" I said, "You said to me the horse needs further, so I thought I'd just run a little bit further."
Buy your KZN Red Yearling at the KZN Yearling sales on the 2nd and 3rd of July 2015 at Suncoast Casino. And qualify to race on Vodacom Durban July Day for the richest purse for 2-year-olds in the country.